travel, arts and fashion, tasty recipes and places to eat. If you like any of those things, well, you're in for a treat, 'cause she's so fancy. She's so fancy. Like and subscribe.
Hey you guys, you may have noticed I have theme music. I feel like a squirmy high school girl right now that's like, oh my god, they wrote me theme music, like ah. A special thanks to my husband and Mr. Joe. You guys are freaking amazing. Thank you so much for doing this for me. I love it so much. I'm so humbled and like it's so cute, and I'm also like cringy because it's me, but like you guys are amazing and I appreciate you so much. If you guys like the theme song, please drop a note down in those comments, and let's get started with today's video. Hi friends and family. I am here in Florence. Duh. I went to class. I went to a little like drugstore I found finally called Caddy, which had really cheap stuff because I needed a couple things, including nail polish actually for school. Weird, I know. I'll show you what I'm doing with it later. And then I went to this amazing lunch. I need to look up the name of the restaurant, but I was the only American, which was a great sign during a lunch rush. And I had a caprese salad and a ravioli with like a cream sauce, like a creamy tomato sauce, which I normally don't like, but it was light. It was so beautiful. And the ravioli perfectly cooked, perfect pasta with ricotta. I think there were some breadcrumbs in there as well as some spinach, so just divine. Now I'm in a little coffee shop to do some work at school called Todo Modo. They do coffee and books, and you got to see this place because it's beautiful. So I'm sitting here with my little cafe, my water. There's an actual cafe up there. They've got books in English and Italian, possibly other languages. But look at this little workspace. How freaking adorable this is. And this little boy is cute too. But this is my stuff, my workspace. And this was today's, ooh, you're not gonna be able to see because of the shadow anyway. This was today's study in sheer, how to illustrate sheer things. And my faces, I think, are finally getting better. He made me color her face more. Like give her makeup, which I didn't love, but I think my faces are getting less like frightening. Like look at that one. Oof. But I think they're getting cuter, so I think I'll get there. Yeah, so I'm gonna do some work and I'll check back in. Hi guys. Okay, without further ado, I'm gonna show you what I'm working on. I'm nervous. Don't be mean. Be constructive, but don't be mean. Okay, so the first thing we were supposed to do is research and kind of things that we like. And I don't know, initially I had the idea of bubblegum just kind of on the forefront. So what this is an idea of like a mood board, a bubbly. So this is supposed to be for next spring, which would have already debuted already, but go with it. I've got some deco stuff in here. I've got a plus size model. She's actually not a model. She's an Instagrammer and I love her. She's 61 years old. Fabulous. This is my idea for makeup. Freaking love this. Anyway, and just the idea of pink and bubbles and silver, gum wrappers. This is my color scheme for the moment. I liked this as makeup too, but it's basically... This is basically this, except without the glitter, which, if you know me, you know I love glitter. Then we were given the assignment to basically design from the advantage of a designer. And I had already started designing. So I basically backed into Balenciaga. This is the Balenciaga balloon coat. And I'm gonna have to re-review to see how I can pull in more Balenciaga, but for the moment, that's kind of in my inspo. So these pages are inspo/mood board. And we were supposed to pull images and do research. So when you see images, it's just stuff that I liked, and then you'll see kind of how I pulled it all together. So I really liked this sweater. I liked the idea of creating this long piece here is like a bubble. This reminded me of a stick of gum, so I really liked that. And then I was thinking about gumball machines, and if you look at the shape of the top of that, I was like, ooh, that would make a cool waistband. You guys know, if you ever played with gum wrappers, the gum wrapper weave, or the different things you can do with them, make bracelets, etc. And this, just as far as orbs and bubbles, I thought this was so much fun. So I ended up kind of putting all this stuff together and coming up with this as a design. So, and none of this is finalized, these are just sketches. So I like the idea of pulling that hair fixture kind of into this sweater, cropped little sweater with the bubble detail like I talked about. You'll see that the waistband is riffing off of the bubblegum machine, and then the idea that the pants would be like that woven wrapper situation. This is not illustrated perfectly, it's just a sketch, guys. I will have to do final illustrations. Then same with this, so the idea of like basically a big stick of gum as like the front piece with those gum wrapper weave kind of as a bandeau top, the gumball machine waistband, and then like an idea of like a gumball machine skirt. So I kind of illustrated one, again, a sketch down here to see if it would work, and I like it. So anyway, so these are my first two sketches, and then again, based on random inspiration that I pulled together. Next inspo, funnel bulbs, because they're bulbous, and I thought, oh cute, like vegetable bubbles. I was just obsessed with this as a coat. I thought it was so pretty, and I love feathers, always. More of this gum wrapper chain. And then when I was in Amalfi, I saw this beautiful column, and I love the ombre, and although I think this is supposed to be like shells and waves, I figured I could use that, in my design from a bubble perspective. So what I ended up with, again, sketching, is just a riff off of this type of jacket, except with like a bubble sleeve, an under bubble, and the waist, it's cropped. All of these would be paillettes. If you don't know what a paillette is, because you might not, paillettes are these things. They're like basically big old sequins, okay? So like that sequin design, the idea here is an ombre. So an ombre with the sequin, again with that bubblegum machine waistband, and then an ombre of pinks, probably maybe even into grays, TBD, or grays into pinks. Then this is my funnel bulb idea, this wrap / like bubble, and then this is that same chain, again, that gumball chain top as a dress. Okay, next one. This is so beautiful. This embroidery, it's like beaded. See if I can get in there, yeah. It's like this gorgeous beaded design. So beautiful. More traditional kind of countertop gumball machine. And then the snail I saw, I was like, wow, is that gorgeous? So what that became essentially is the idea of using kind of that snail shape as a skirt, and then that top is like the top bodice is kind of the gumball machine top as a dress, and then utilizing that embroidery technique and design. I just think that would be gorgeous. And then I don't know about this one. Basically, I riffed this off of Top Hat, the movie. So the idea being that this would be like bubble sleeves or puff sleeves, a jodhpur with like probably in an ivory or like a really, really pale pink with matching pearls, pearl buttons. And then I've got this like gorgeous brocade design that I found that I would use for the coat. So this is still like TBD, but showing you everything, even the stuff that I think I'm gonna nix. Speaking of nixing, there's this like baseball jacket, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's like bulbous, that's bubbly. And then I found this in a cooking magazine, which by the way looks delicious. It's supposed to be corn pudding, zucchini corn pudding, who knew? Anyway, so then I started playing around with the idea of like a big bulbous kind of bubblegum puffer, like a big puffy puffer, and the idea of a kind of bubbly top maybe underneath it. So like the puffer is sheer, and then you see the bubbles underneath, kind of like a bubblegum machine. And then the waistband would be that gum wrapper chain, and then the skirt would be kind of the idea of a bunch of sticks of gum together in metallic silver. Meh. This is basically, if you think about it, this. Except what I'd like to do is some silk organza over a satin and then embed ribbon, so like grosgrain ribbon, like all through there to create that kind of fun design. I had played with the idea of, you see this pot here, as a strap, but I don't like that. I liked it better when it was strapless. So it's that. By the way, the overall final is 10 looks. So we went to the PT Museum the other day, which was amazing. And can't really see it, but the skirt is made out of like cuts of circles. And obviously it's a circle top with a belt. There's the side. I also really liked this embedded kind of element, which I thought might be fun. And this is ribbon, maybe, hard to tell. And I found this sequin design on Pinterest that I really like. I don't like the colors, but I really like the design. So then kind of what I came up with, this is evolved, but basically the idea of that sequin design, but in my color palette, not with that multicolor ugly stuff, like a really thin belt, probably with that repeating gum wrapper chain in a metallic, and then basically like layers and layers and layers of tulle in that circular cutout. I really like that, and then as a bubble dress. So it would be really bulbous and pretty on the bottom. And I also think that those tulle layers and these layers are going to mimic back to the fennel bulb, which I think will be really pretty. And same thing with that snail, so that idea of like unwrapping or layers. Okay, this guy initially was this. Some knickerbockers and like a fun bulby kind of a jacket, cropped. And then this was the original. I love this. I love the sleeve on this. I actually love this top period, but I really love the sleeve. This is a Celine ad. So this was also an inspo piece. I love this. So we were at the museum and I saw this and I thought, wait a minute, I could totally do that like medieval, short, that like balloon short. But I had also seen this. This was like a beautiful kind of organza design underneath a French dress. So I thought, well, what if I did that kind of organza on the skirt and then used the way that the jacket comes down into a V, pull that into the short, and then did, I really like that funnel neck. So kept that funnel neck on the jacket, keep the sleeve, that Celine type of sleeve, and then, not that it's a Celine sleeve, I forget what they're called, but that sleeve, and then use that beaded pearl design on the top. I think that would be gorgeous. So I'm excited about this one once I get it together and illustrate it. This just got rethought like today. This is one of my favorites. These are my bubble pants, and kind of an ombre bubble. The idea with that top is supposed to be just like pleated sticks of gums. It would be like metallic. I illustrated it a little too dark. It's not a final, again, it's just a sketch, but, and here was the inspo pic. And then I love this too. This is my bubble dress. Totally obsessed. Need to re-illustrate it. But yeah, it's not gonna look too far off from this. I like it. Although I think she looks like Sharon Moonstruck. And my teacher loved it, but I do not. All right. Now here's some of my things I think I'm gonna move away from, more things I'm gonna move away from. This was my idea of like a bubble trench with the gum stick kind of details as like little like ruffles essentially. Sheer organza probably trench with some kind of treatment so that it was water repellent. That metallic gum stick bodysuit, and then I was playing with the idea of a bowler hat, like a sheer kind of bubble bowler, but I don't know, I'm not in love with that, but I do want to come up with a trench, so I'm going to rework this a little bit. This was again just kind of my first thoughts of like gum stick, again with sheer. I like sheer and metallic together just as a general look, but I'm not in love with this. This reminds me of Miu Miu from like 3 years ago, which is probably why it popped in my head. This is before, you know, I really started to put together the research and think through what I wanted to do. She's the OG, the original Bubble Girl, so I had to put her in there. Another thought I had was like kind of bubbles with like feathers and the gum stick detail, but I hate the way this looks. But it occurs to me that if I keep this bubble kind of thing going in opposition to the kind of the gum stick weave, the like chain or whatever, that maybe I could do like multiple bubbles and then do like a tiny chain for the waistband. So I might rework this, TBD. This was a good idea in theory, but I hate the way it worked out. Again, the chain for the gum, my my gumball machine waistband, kind of gumball machine detail. So like sheer with like either actual like orbs in there or maybe a print with orbs, TBD. But I don't love it, and honestly I like the skirt that I came up with better as kind of the gumball machine design riff. So this one's gonna go to the curb. And that's it. I'm still working on a bunch of other stuff. I'm reworking a trench. I really want to come up with like an evening gown. And then I've got some detailed stuff in my head that I want to use somewhere. So I want to work that too. So I probably have 3 or 4 more looks I want to add. But I got to get all this illustrated and finalized and turned in. Geez, you guys, I've been gluing for a couple hours. So anyway, I've got to get all this illustrated and turned in by Thursday. So crazy. Anyway, yeah, so we'll see how all that goes. I want to get this stuff. I'm saying I want to get this stuff done, but really, I really want to still work on the other stuff. Oh, the other thing I want to work on is accessories. Head stuff, shoes, maybe bags, maybe earrings, maybe necklace. I mean, the idea of that chain, that gum chain, I think that could really translate, especially in silver, to a lot of different cool looking jewelry. And then like with bubbles, I just think that would be really cool. But I'm going to play around with that too. So that's like what I have ahead of me. So that's my fashion intensive kind of workings of my collection so far. It's not finalized. I will share it with you when it's finalized. But I'm getting ready to get out of here and get home. So good afternoon, and I hope you guys are out here woken up, and I hope you're starting your day off well in the States. Love you.